Hi everyone. Well, I know quite a lot of you have missed Striders and Eagles because it's exam time, so I thought I'd quickly catch you up. We are walking through the books of the New Testament, as you know, and we're on Paul's letters at the moment. We're doing Galatians this Sunday. Hopefully, you can join us. He was a Jewish Pharisee and he persecuted the Christians. He was quite zealous for his faith, so something that was very important to him was keeping the Jewish law, and he didn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah. When he was walking on the road to Damascus, he was under instructions to go and persecute the Christian churches there. He encountered Jesus, and Jesus said to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And of course, at that moment, he was struck blind for a while, and then when he recovered, he actually became the Apostle Paul that we know of, who was possibly the greatest missionary who ever walked this earth for the gospel. He undertook missionary journeys and he wrote 13 letters, must have written many letters, but there were 13 letters that were included in the Bible, and 9 of them were to churches. So I just want to talk about the church of the Galatian region today. Obviously, the letters that weren't to churches he wrote to individuals. So 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, Philemon. And we'll get to those. We're going to be continuing with Paul's letters throughout the rest of the second term and almost to the end of the third term. So please do come to Striders and Eagles. These letters are really amazing, and yeah, we can really be blessed by Paul. In this first missionary journey, he started off in Antioch with Mark and Barnabas, and they caught a passage on a ship across the Mediterranean to Cyprus. They taught in some of the synagogues there on the east coast of Cyprus, and then they travelled across the island. It's quite a large island, across to the west coast, and there's some stories in the Bible you can actually read in Acts 13 and 14, the people that they encounter there. So they left Cyprus and travelled by another ship to Asia, to the southern coast of Asia. It's modern day Turkey. They spent some time in a number of cities there, and at that point John Mark leaves them and he goes back to Jerusalem, and it doesn't tell us in the scripture why, except that Paul was not happy about that, and as a result he did not invite Mark back on the second trip, the second journey. So they traveled further inland to the province of Galatia. They stopped at another city called Antioch Pisidia, a major commercial center with both Jews and Greeks, and they preached the gospel of Christ in synagogues and public forums there, and they had a huge impact. So the Jews, they were jealous when they saw the Gentiles coming together in crowds, so they drove them out of Antioch. So they left for a city called Iconium, an export of agriculture and a very cultural, diverse people with lots of Jews and Gentiles. And some accepted Paul's words and some didn't. So of course there were many disputes. Paul and Barnabas left and went to the neighboring town of Lystra, and they encountered a crippled man there, and he was healed. So when the Romans saw this, they started calling them God. They called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercury, but of course Paul and Barnabas said, we're not gods, don't worship us. Jews from Iconium arrived, and they were the people who had driven them out. So they convinced the public to kill them. They stoned Paul, dragged him out of the city, and left him for dead. And he miraculously re-entered the city. And the following day, Paul and Barnabas left Lystra for their last Galatian stop at Derbe, where they preached the gospel. Paul and Barnabas returned to Lystra, Iconium, and Antioch on their way back. And each of those cities, they strengthened the Christian converts and they ordained elders. So the congregations of Antioch and Lystra and Iconium and Derbe became known as the churches of Galatia. So those churches in Galatia obviously continued after their missionary trip, but they remained in constant turmoil between the Jews and the Gentiles, and they were often arguing about issues such as eating meat offered to idols, circumcision, and generally overemphasizing the law. So in the New Testament book of Galatians that we actually doing it this Sunday is actually a plea. It's a plea written from Paul to the churches of Galatia, the Galatian region, to put away their obsession with law keeping, which is quite interesting because in the beginning he was, zealously defending the Old Testament laws. So to put away their obsession with the laws and to embrace the liberty of grace. And grace is what we would like to talk about. So yeah, I hope to see you Sunday. We're going to be talking about the book of Galatians and the letter that Paul wrote to the churches of Galatia. Okay, have a great week. God bless. Bye.